Good Sunday morning. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. I'm Kate Doherty with the radical Ryan. The lovely Laura is not here yet because we needed a caffeine fix this morning, just FYI. Practically Perfect Penny has decided to poof and be grandma for a little bit. However, we have two amazing co-hosts until Laura shows up here with the coffee, and even after she shows up, we have my darling Olivia. I'm trying to think of an adjective.
I can tell you're trying to think of a word. An O is hard. It's a hard one.
Very hard. The ooh la la Olivia. And then we have the magnificent Mac Keyholtz, who is here on the show. You like that? Magnificent Mac?
I feel like you're doing a bit much here, Kate, but I know that's just your personality, so that's great.
100%.
Well, I may have a tendency to be over the top, but truly,
I am a bit flattered.
Truly, I will say, however, it might also be because for the last few weeks while we've been taping the show, I've had a very large duck in Ryan's studio that has been staring at me. Yeah. And you can say, okay, Kate, you've finally gone off the deep end and you're over the top.
No,
but
it's big.
There is a yellow duck in Ryan's studio, and it is taller. My niece Paige is here with us today. And the duck is taller than Paige. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is a very large duck. And I hope it was a very successful event yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It was, very much so. Obviously, the Riverfront Revival here in Quincy is what they got going on. So it's duck races, food trucks, the whole thing was what we were going on yesterday. So it was a good time.
And part of the perks of taping in the studio is you get to share it with an enormous duck. I never thought I would do such a thing.
I had the pleasure of co-hosting SportsCenter with him every single day. So it was really, really awesome. Really awesome.
And, which leads us into our topic today. We're going to talk about change. We're going to talk about transition. We're going to talk about those unexpected occurrences that happen in our life that just make everything a little more something extra.
A little quacky.
A little quacky. Oh, that's
good one. Good one.
Whenever I saw the duck, I just knew some kind of joke involving the duck was going to happen.
It was happening.
Wow.
Laura, we have you positioned right over there. We have started. We have begun.
And the coffee has shown up, which means that this show can probably go even more off the rails than what it typically would go. My dad is already rolling his eyes. Mac is wondering what he got himself into.
Yes, he is.
So let me do a little introduction. For those of you who listen to the show, my darling Olivia has been on the show and has been tortured basically, for the last decade.
Life. Oh,
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. We'll go with that.
The whole life.
Entire existence.
I was actually just referring to, when we started talking about it.
Right.
However, so Mr. Mac here
Gracias.
is one of my favorite humans on the planet. Yeah. And Mr. Mac, one of these days, I want you guys to listen to me because I'm calling this. One of these days, Mr. Mac and Howard Cosell, their names are both going to be in the Hall of Fame together. I feel extraordinarily confident. I do believe.
You're really shooting for the stars there on me. Am I the horse you're betting on in this race?
Laura, no. We have you set up over there next to you go sit over there. No.
And I'm so comfortable on the couch.
I know. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're over here. We gotta get Mac all transitioned in.
Yeah, so, you guys are sharing a mic, by the way, so you can share it up there.
All right. If you're listening to the show, it really is part of the reason why I'm super excited.
We're 4 minutes in and we're completely all over the place.
No, we are not.
Yeah.
It all leads together. Okay, so one of the things that when we talk about just life in general, and when we talk about people with disabilities, people always bring up this thing, and they normally do it in a whispery style voice. That's a little bit annoying. And they say things like, we really have to be careful with the transitioning. How do we transition? So one of the reasons I'm super excited that I have Mac and Olivia and actually Laura, here's the deal. Transitioning.
I got an actually, Laura.
I didn't even get mentioned.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
That's fine. That's really cool.
Okay. Anyway.
We got a good group today.
And they wonder why we go off the rails. Anyway, but it's because here's the deal. Newsflash, people. Change is difficult. Transition is difficult for hashtag everyone. Even when we know it's going to be positive. So, for example, and Mac, just so you know, I've shared this before on the air, so I'm not like outing Olivia. So I want you to feel comfortable with this.
I knew.
So when she went to college, she
Oh,
had a
this is
hard
gonna be
time.
good.
Well, she did. She had a hard time. She herself has talked about it.
Yeah,
on the
I've
air.
talked about it before too. I had a hard time because it was a lot of change all at once. And granted, like, yes, I went to high school. I was involved in sports. I was not straight A, but A B student. So I mean, I did really
You were in dance,
well. Yeah,
track.
the musicals, all of it. And so I managed my own schedule for the most part. I knew where I needed to be, all of the things. I'm your, just typical run of the mill. I can handle it myself. I got it. And then I went to college and it was all so very different. And it wasn't even for me because some kids go and it's like, oh my gosh, I have this new sense of freedom, which yes, and that can be difficult to manage sometimes. But I think for me, it was just because my whole world looked way different and I was away from my people is what really messed with me because getting to class, managing the schedule, homework, that sort of thing, that was not the issue for me. For me, it was where my community was. And even though I chose to go to the school I went to, I moved, I packed my things, I knew I was doing it. But still, once you did it, holy crap, I really, really struggled for probably the first semester just trying to find my community of people. And that's where I really, really struggled. And so I think that speaks to how important it is to have your people and your community around you. But that's where my struggle came from, which is not where every other person always struggles.
Well, and I will say, and Laura, now I'm throwing you and I on the bus. We're going to save Mac for last, and we'll actually we're going to go you and me, and then we're going to go Ryan.
Oh, I'm here.
And
yes,
you are. We're going to do this because I want Mac to have time to fully formulate his thoughts since we just threw him into this mess.
So what you're saying is like I'm still going last. You just said it in a more fancy way.
I did.
Exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. You got it.
You're going
but I
last.
hear you
That's
save the
exactly it.
best for last. That's what you do. Okay, so Laura and I are in a different change of life. And we have friends. It's very interesting. Some of our friends, as they've become, empty nesters, they have breezed right on through it. I mean, they are like, whoop, whoop, there it is. We're out of here. See you in a year. You know what I mean? They're in Europe. They're in Texas. They're horseback riding. They're going for long walks on the beach. Yeah. Like, they have, bam, no issues. There are other friends of ours that are on the struggle bus, seriously on the struggle bus, because they're like, wait a second, my kids are gone. What does that mean for me? And how does that all fit in? And there's others that are kind of like in between and redefining. I would say Laura and I'm not quite there yet. I only have the one out of the nest, but I got two others that are getting ready to fly the nest. And so I'm kind of like probably in the middle a little bit, trying to find my way. Laura, I would say, is more like kind of, I'd say we're both, don't you think we're meaty, like somewhere in the middle?
Yeah. I mean, I'm like, I don't know exactly where I am.
It's hard. It's different.
Well, okay. But for me, it was so weird because when my oldest left, my youngest was a senior. And as a senior, I did not lay eyes on my child. James was so busy as a senior that it might as well have been they both left. And so that first semester when Liam left was harder, frankly, because then it was also 2020. So then it was like Liam came home in March, and then James was home, and then everybody was home, and then everybody was still home. and then they left. And it wasn't until, so James did 3 semesters. So that third semester, so after I was an empty nester for a whole year, that third semester, I finally said, I think I'm an empty nester. Right. And then James came home. So I think
to my point is you're like
I'm so in the middle because I don't think I experienced that quote unquote empty nester thing the way so many of our friends did. But I think, and we talked about it one week when you were gone because I talked about it with Penny with retirement. I think for parents, mothers in particular, but maybe, there's some dads out there too that are like this. We have a lot of our identity wrapped up in being a parent and all the things we do as a parent that all of a sudden there's nothing to do What do I do now? So I think that's why that transition is so hard for a lot of our friends are just in that. So if you've got plenty of other things that you're in the middle of working on, I think it makes transition easier. I don't know if that was the answer you wanted, but that's my answer.
It's not really. The whole point of today's show is that change is difficult, transition is hard. And
it's different for every person.
And it's part of life. And also understanding as you make these transitions, you all need different levels of support. And my hope is
Amen.
My hope is by the time we get through this and we look at Mac's case, your case, my case, Olivia's case, Ryan's case, that point kind of becomes overwhelming that, yeah, everybody needs something a little bit different. And whether you, quote unquote, have a ability or what is known as a disability, this is just part of the common life experience that we share. And how do we best help ease each other through those different times? And Ryan, like I said, now I'm going to throw you under the bus, and probably Mac's going to get to start the head of the next segment, but I'm going to throw you under the bus because Ryan, you went from, you had, as far as I know, in my knowing of you, you had where you went from a totally typical Henri Rotten college kid to discovering you have a very serious medical condition with your and that was world changing for you. And then you end up you meet the wife, you kind of or meet the girlfriend who becomes the wife, and you're kind of cruising along. You got that because you guys dated a while. And then you went literally in the course of a weekend. Like I came in to tape the show and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Well, I'm a dad. Wait a second. Where'd the 9 months go here? I'm really excited. I think you're going to be a great one, but help a sister out.
No, I've gone through probably since college, the amount of transitions that I've gone through is way more than I've ever gone through prior to that. Kind of similar to your case, college was a big change for me. Yeah. And I honestly, for lack of a better way of saying it, I hated it at first. I did not do well my freshman year. It was different than what I was used to. And again, similar to you, I was involved in a lot of different things. But long story short, I finally get acclimated, and then all of a sudden, boom, life throws me an even bigger curveball, and I get diabetes. And it was like, okay, so now I got to figure that part of life out. Again, as you pointed out, met my wife. We're going to be dating. Well, our dating anniversary is 10 years this coming March that we've been together, which is nuts. It does not feel like 10 years. But anyway, I met her, and then you're navigating through life with diabetes, college, girlfriend. Okay, I got 2 years left in college. I got to figure out a job. And then all of a sudden, my last semester, I got very lucky and worked really hard at the same time, got this job at WGEM, and now I'm here in Quincy, and that's a complete different change than what college was, because now I'm a quote-unquote adult, now I'm paying bills, and now you're trying to figure out life not only with, your partner, which in this case was, my wife, who was my girlfriend then. We both found jobs out here, and now we're living on our own, which we were in college, but it's completely different because you're also paying bills that are bigger bills than what you thought you were paying in college when you thought, oh, yeah, I'm doing this and totally know what life's all about. And then you don't. And then you get out and you're like, oh, there's more bills and cool, there's all this stuff. So then you go through that. And yeah, it was, 3-4 years into living here, I then proposed, and we, like you pointed out, we got married. We got married in August of 22. And then you fast forward not even 6 months, barely that, to becoming foster parents and having twin girls that are now with us and have been with us. They just turned 3 a couple of months ago. We've had them for 2.5 years now. And that's a whirlwind and a half, because you go from, and quite frankly, I went from me, my wife, and we had an older dog who was this little lap dog, to me, my wife, lap dog, 2 2-year-old dogs now, and 2 twins. Again, all females, by the way. Just want to point that out. A lot of that going on. It's a great time. But again, you go through, these transitions in life, and I am one, and we'll pause here and we can come back and talk more. I hate change. I am terrible with change. Like my wife will tell you, you ask her, is Ryan bad with change? You don't even have to finish the sentence. She's like, yes, he is.
You will learn.
Yeah.
And maybe the course of the show will help you. As you get older, it sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I believe if you learn to embrace change because you begin to recognize it as a natural cycle of life. That doesn't mean I'm always the best at it. It simply means that it is a benefit, I think, of growing older. But that's not for everyone. Some people truly do still struggle with it, and you get bitter or you get better, and that's true with almost anything in life. But for now, this is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. We're gonna get Mac's story when we come back. Good Sunday morning. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything.
There it is.
I'm Kate Doherty with the Radical Ryan. The Practically Perfect Penny is off being Grimsy, Mumsy, or Mumsy Grimsy, or whatever it is.
Her.
Yes, whatever we call her now, as she's transitioning into this different change of life.
Yes.
The lovely Laura McReynolds is here, and we have I don't even know. Where's your
Listen, an O name is hard. I don't know what to tell you. I'm trying to remember what Austin and I named our cocktail for me for our wedding, and I don't even remember because I definitely used ChatGPT for that because I'm not that creative.
By the third segment, I'm going to have something, and we have the magnificent Mac. So there we go. Okay, so the kind of the theme overarching of today's show is one of the things when it comes to people with disabilities of all ages and stages is they always whisper the issues with transitioning or with change and here's the deal, to be fair, no different than what did you just say, Ryan? You said you really hate change.
I do. Terrible.
So anything that whole more alike than different thing, guess what, people? I would say it is most people are not like, woohoo, thank you for closing my favorite restaurant. I'm so appreciative. Thank you for doing it. Well, my God, they tried to change the Cracker Barrel logo and look what happened.
Dare they?
I knew we were going to talk about Cracker Barrel. I just knew it would come up.
Coming at some point.
I've seen it on Instagram. I've seen it on Snapchat. And I just keep scrolling in 10 slides in a row. It's Cracker Barrel.
That's right. That's right.
I'm just saying. I mean, case in point.
But
So-
it is. No, it is. It's a transition in general is tough. I mean, for anybody, it is difficult. And, sometimes in certain transitions, you may be very good at it. Mm-hmm. But then you may go, let's just say, for a year later, and there's a different transition that comes up, and you're awful at it. It's because it's just where you're at in life and exactly what that transition is.
Yeah, well, and so part of the reason, with Mac, I wanted to bring up because, you're in your first year of college.
Yeah.
He just graduated.
Good luck.
I mean, and I don't know if Mac's
Everything we just said. Good luck.
Yeah.
no, hey, with me,
Our lovely stories of how our
I
transition
loved
to
my
college
freshman
went.
year. I don't know what's
yeah,
wrong
Mac,
with you two.
yeah. Mac, I don't know so far what I actually, just so you know, I have no idea what's going to come out of his mouth because I think he's more like a me and Laura where he's like, yeah, actually, I like it. I don't know if he's like you two where you're like, heck no, I don't want to go. I don't like it. But now
This
Max,
is the transition that you're going to have to get
yeah,
used to.
you'll have
this
to
is the
figure it
part
out.
that I want to hear. Okay, Mac, tell us how's it going. You went from itty bitty teeny weeny school to now you're at John Wood Community College, right?
So I got to say, start off in a humorous way. I got to say, in the middle of the cornfields where I am, we don't really have road construction. That's a pretty awkward thing because I can't just really go down Broadway right now.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunately.
tough.
No.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't really get to school.
I can't do the easy way to the campus. I gotta go. I gotta go down to I forget what it's called, but you go through a
Subdivision.
I don't know, just a little suburb or whatever.
I laughed because I had to drop one of a student off at College for Life just this past week, and I laughed because it says not a through street, you can't go through here, and I'm like, yep, well GPS is taking me right on through this handy dandy little subdivision. So
I just text into Google Maps, girl, and you pray, and you cross your fingers, and you just hope it gets you where you're going. But college is, it's a bit weird, I gotta say, because here's the big thing. So the first thing about it is I was expecting bigger classes at times, but then again, 30 is a big class we have at college for me.
That's nice, though. I mean, like, well,
Yeah.
I mean, depending. I mean, I guess
Yeah.
some people really want. Yeah, I do think that's.
is good.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's interesting, Mac, you say that because I have had kids before say to me, "I don't want to be in," you know what I mean, such a big room. Now, in your case, I think you were kind of looking forward to it.
Oh, John Wood has been great so far, but one of the awkward things is like I can count on like half of one hand the people I actually know there. Because really, I just got one of my classmates, the student life coordinator, and then that's about it. So I got 2 fingers.
Well, and I think but what you're talking about, I think is something, I think it's part of the reason why Olivia had such a
I would
hard
say
time.
that's that finding community because you and I both went to. I mean, your high school was even smaller than mine, but the high school I went to, I knew everyone. I mean, every single student, and not only you. I know your siblings. I know your mom, your dad, your grandma, your aunt, everybody. And then you go to college, and you're like, I don't know anybody, and you feel so alone. And I think what was hard for me to think about and get the big picture when I was a freshman is everybody's in that boat. Everyone is starting over and trying to find their people. And so it's not that you're alone. You may feel that way, but like everyone feels that way. So you're not singled out, I guess I should say. And so once you kind of embrace that and just start meeting and talking to people, and you can build your community. But it is weird when you're like, oh, where did everybody go? You know?
It's like you're in a sea of people, but you've never really felt so alone.
Yes, exactly.
But
Yeah.
the weird thing is, like, it's really does depend on kind of the individual and how they deal with it. So what I did was, so before college even started, I'm on SGA, student government. So what I did was I got to know a few of the people at the SGA meeting beforehand. So for the social transition, the first thing you got to do is, well, you got to have a little bit of courage, and you got to put yourself out there. You got to be like, okay, I have the opportunity to meet some new people here. I have the opportunity to kind of make myself, because when you're a teen, you don't really get the chance to make a version of yourself. When you go to college and nobody knows you, my dad said it best. He said that whenever you go out to college, you get to be a new person. You get to make the person you become. And that kind of gets a little bit difficult when you just want to be the same version of you and you don't want to grow, you don't want to change. But the problem is with that, I mean, the world never stops changing. And it takes courage to accept the fact that you can't stay the same forever. So what I've started to do is not really be happy about certain changes, but it's to like think, how can I adapt? How can I kind of go along with this? It's like you can't change the flow of the river, but you can put on your little floaties on your forearms and you can float with it as best
Get
you
with it.
can.
Exactly.
You can at the very least, you can doggy paddle along
Yeah.
with it. You can try,
Yes.
but
Yes.
and also kind of looking on the bright side of things. I mean, right now I like my classes. I like my teachers, and everything's really nice. I like it a lot more than high school. I got to say that. I'm not stuck in 7 different rooms for like 55 minutes each. I get to go there for like 3 hours at most, and then I can go home. I can go to Jimmy John's like I did before this. I'm going to put something out here real quick. Jimmy John's is better than Subway, I think. My first appearance, I'm getting on here with some controversy.
Wow, that's not where I thought he was going to go with it. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm going to go that I like Siddell's. Just FYI. I like Siddell's. I have become a
Local
Siddell's
stuff
girl.
is always amazing.
Yeah, there you go. So anyway,
And,
no offense to anyone, and
No.
no, none of those are paid out.
I have no hate in my heart for Subway fans. I just think I'm more correct.
Well, and I want you to know,
My
as your
sandwich
senior
choice.
advisor, I'm going to tell you right now that I am way more correct. Siddell's rocks.
Right.
Oh man, but yeah.
No, I think, Mac, I think you really did some great points there, because I think it's one of the things that I like how you, like the water wingy, like I
like-
you know, like you can put those on.
Well, and like you said, it's hard to get into any transition, whether you're talking about college or, now you have twins or whatever. You if you want to hold on to that old version of yourself while you're going through the transition,
It's not gonna end well.
You're
Right.
going to struggle. But it's natural to want to be like, well, this is all new. I don't, and you kind of try and push it away because you want to hold on to the old version of yourself.
Yeah.
And
It's
change, I think
Yeah.
the hardest part is just the embracing, like, I'm gonna have to let that go and figure out who I want to be, and who you end up becoming through change most of the time is a better version of yourself.
I'm so glad you said that the way you said that, because it's one of the things that I notice, like when I work with littles, and sometimes the littles have autism, or sometimes they have Down syndrome, sometimes they have a lot of different things. As adults, we sometimes forget exactly kind of how difficult change is. Does that make sense? Unless it becomes a life event that is to us. And so it's always interesting because I'm in, 26 different schools all across the tri-state area, and I'll see them and they'll be like, well, they just don't want to go in this room. And I'm like, well, okay, like, it's not that I don't want the child to go in this particular room, or that I don't want them to go in the gym. But sometimes that gym is really loud and noisy. Sometimes that hallway is really freaking crowded. Sometimes, kind of like Mac's analogy of putting the water wings on, we just got to approach it a little different. Like, we sometimes want kids, children, adults, with and without disabilities, to do things instantly on our time schedule. And sometimes you got to kind of ease in a little bit. Does that make sense? Kind of like Mac was talking when he went to school, like he went and met some people before.
Right.
That eased his transition in. Like Olivia, was talking like it wasn't the first quarter and it wasn't the second quarter.
Yeah.
But holy smokes, third quarter, we never got to talk to her anymore because she was out and she had found some of her people. I mean, and
But the reality is, though, again, the more that you quote unquote transition,
the better it gets.
the better it gets. Because
Definitely.
I laugh hearing you guys, and I'm not that much older than either one of you, but like, when you go to college, because I went through it as well, like you transition into maybe somebody that's different, or you don't, or whatever you do, right? Well, I'm also here to tell you that, like, even that version of yourself will have to change. Because by the time I then had kids, the old Ryan, if you will, of being all the freedom and do whatever I want to do, no. Like, you're now conducive to, what does this 3-year-old need? And what are they doing and all this stuff? And to go back to also something that you guys said, like, what do I want to be? Now it turns into, okay, well, what kind of dad do I want to be? What kind of father do I want to be, husband-wise, with that whole combo? Am I going to be there all the time, or am I going to work just really hard, or am I going to be a sports coach? Am I not going to be a sports coach? Am I going to be on the sidelines? What am I going to do? And so I've had to transition into that, where it's like I'm now a different person than what I was. I'm 29 now, going to be 30. I'm a different person at 29 than I was at 21.
That's a really good point. And honestly, I think you brought up something that I don't know if I've ever even fully thought about before. But Mac, this won't include you and I, but you three, as you go through transition in life, you also have to coach your little people how to deal with the transition as well. So you could be struggling with this new routine or this new whatever, but if your little ones are struggling too, well, then now you have to coach them through it while you're struggling. And that's a whole other level of parenting that clearly I am still quite far away from, but like that's got to be difficult.
Let me tell you this. I mean, on top to piggyback off of it, like just as like kind of a side joke, like for instance, for us, we try to eat dinner at the table. Mm-hmm. Bro, when we didn't have kids, like we're on the couch, watch TV, eat dinner. So now it's like, well, if we wanted to show them like at the table, we have to take ourselves out of that. And it's like, okay, now it's a punishment for us. Like,
oh no! Like
now, again,
whatever.
Do we still do that sometimes? Yes.
Yeah.
But like the whole big picture of it is, I have to transition into this while I'm also trying to have them transition into this. So yeah, it's completely.
I'm glad you used that example, Ryan, because I mean we've been talking about these giant transitions until Kate brought up going into the hallway, or you brought up sitting at the table. It doesn't matter if it's a life-changing, I'm going to college or I'm an empty nester, or if it's just, I don't know, what keeps popping into my head in this whole conversation is okay, my kid with the ADHD, so it was definitely a little neurodivergent moment.
Yeah.
But we're on an airplane, and James had picked out a seat, and Liam had picked out another seat, and James threw an absolute hissy fit at like age, I don't know, 9. And then he turned around and he said to Liam, "You don't understand how hard it is for me to change once I've made up my mind." And it was just like this, whoa.
Awesome. Sorry.
Yeah, but it was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
cow, what just happened? And then he picked up his things and he went and he sat next to Liam. But he had to like totally steady himself for this very small change of changing seats.
Yeah.
So it's not always the giant things in life, I guess. It can be those small things that you made up your mind and then all of a sudden you got to pivot. Even pivoting is difficult for everybody, no matter what their quote
Okay.
unquote.
Round robin, real quick.
Yeah.
How do you do with a schedule change? Easy or hard?
Hard.
Very hard.
Okay, I can flow with it. I mean, like it doesn't phase me at all. My husband, boy, not happy. Paige is over there listening to that. Her daddy, oh, not happy. So my brother and my husband, they're with Mac. They're very hard.
I'm not with Mac. I'm like hard, but not like that hard.
No,
It's like I've got, because by the time I got my schedule, I've got everything figured out then. I know what I want to do, when I want to do it. I know all of that. And then, oh, here comes the wrench, and it goes right into the engine of my schedule.
Yep.
And everything's going up in smoke. And I'm just like,
yeah,
What?
that's a Tony and a Jack. What about for you?
I think as long as I stick to my outline and get like my big stuff done in a day, then I'm okay.
Oh, maybe I'm with Olivia.
Yeah, because
like
like
that.
I can do like today. You were supposed to pick me up at whatever
12:30.
time, and then you picked me up 3 hours early, and you know it's fine. I'm still gonna do all the things that I was gonna do in the day. Dinner's gonna
I'm a
look a little
wrench in a
different,
lot of people's
but
schedule.
but I'm cool with it because I'm still getting my big picture stuff done. So I guess as long as I get my big stuff done, I'm okay. The little details don't matter. So I think I'm like a halfway.
I'm an Olivia. I like
Yeah.
that. I like that. Yeah.
I'd say it's hard, but getting easier. I think for me, because
Because you have
like,
to learn how to be flexible because you got
Well, that's
3-year-olds.
what I'm saying. So like, there's been days where like all of a sudden they get sick, and
Oh, yeah.
my schedule is more flexible than my wife's schedule. So, not to say that she hasn't taken out of work or done her thing, but like she'll call me and be like, "Do you have anything going on this week? You know, this afternoon? Can you go get X twin?" And I'm like, and in my back of my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I got to do, but okay, I guess we could put it off to tomorrow."
yeah,
Well,
but
You know what I mean? You just have
Yeah.
to.
So part of this goes to, though, I think this is something that's, when I say teachable, it's kind of like how earlier we were talking about, looking at the transitions and challenges. I think it's something that you can learn, because I honestly think probably my ease with things like a schedule change, like 3 hours early, 2 hours early, it has to do with my life experience, which has been the cancer diagnosis,
Yeah.
the NICU, the PICU, the waiting for an open heart. I think it's just because I've become conditioned to I operate on outline format. I have zero expectation that anything is ever going to go the way I personally perceive it to go, because God seems to laugh at me when I make plans. But for now, this is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. We'll be right back. Good Sunday morning. This is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything.
We got everybody doing that.
I'm Kate Doherty with the Radical Ryan. The Practically Perfect Penny is poofing. The lovely Laura is here. The
Come on, you
Glad
said
you-
you were gonna have it.
the overly awesome
I
Olivia.
can't say the word. Oh,
Optimistic.
the optimistic Olivia.
Okay, there
We
we go.
found an O word. We found an O word.
The magnificent Mac, and we've been talking about differences with challenges and changes and transitions, and how very often it's kind of in whispered tones when it comes to people with disabilities, like, oh, we've got to work on that. Well, no, like, all of us have difficulty transitioning. We all have to learn coping mechanisms and strategies. And I will say, Olivia, you brought this up in the last segment. I will say, I think the hardest thing that I have that nobody told me when, and Ryan, you'll be in for it, like when you do have children, you know, when they used to say, what was it? This is going to be harder on me than it is on you. Or like, that's so often true, but also watching your kid work through the issues with changes and challenges and transitioning and all that stuff. And as a parent, you just want to take it away from them. You know, you don't want them to have to go through that. And I'm here to tell you, like, that is a whole horse of another color, because you know that part of the way you learn is through struggle, through conflict, through challenge, through failing, through succeeding, through all of those different pieces. As much as I don't like it, because man, it stinks. I wish I learned as much from all my success as I did from my failures. But the very real reality is, when I've really screwed up, when I've really failed, when I've really, you know, bit it big time, honest to God, that's when I've learned the most.
Yeah.
And so watching your kid go through that is a whole nother special thing.
It's actually funny, because I was actually having kind of a similar conversation with my parents the other weekend. I was home with them, and we all like went to go visit them and stuff like that. And it was kind of a heart-to-heart conversation I had with my parents, because I was like, look, you know, I'm the oldest of 3, and my parents are awesome. And there are still times, though, that like I'll make a decision based upon what I think is right, and my dad will like suddenly be like, "Oh, you sure?" You know what I mean? Like, and
That
I
never
go,
happens to you, right, Mac?
right?
Oh, my dad has a lot of opinions.
And so
You know him, Kate. You know my dad.
And it's
I
funny
do. That's
because
why I had to say it.
I had to tell him, I'm like, look, I don't need you to do that. Like I want to make this decision, whether it's right or wrong, and move on. And my mom said, she's like, well, it's just hard because we as parents don't want to see our kids fail, which is exactly what you just said. And I was like, no, I know, but like I need to do it. Like you as parents have taught me, and again, I'm speaking like I know what the heck I'm talking about, but you catch my drift. Like, you've taught me to this point, and I'm going to take everything that I learned growing up with how things up, what I saw, everything, and now I'm a parent. Here are my kids. I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go ahead and, you know, try to implement it. Yeah. And again, is it going to be a little bit different than how you did it? Yeah, but that's okay. And again, I need, like, let me fail or, you know, whatever.
So it's interesting you bring this up. And actually, this falls right between where Mac is and where Olivia is. My cousin graduated from college years ago. And he had a business degree. And so my uncle very much wanted him to go get a traditional job.
Right.
Like, they had spent a lot of money on his education. He very much wanted him to have this traditional job. That's because in his set, that's what you did. You know what I mean? You got your business degree and you went in. Mm-hmm. So my cousin was like, yeah, I'm not doing that, Dad. And my uncle was fit to be tied. I mean, he was, what do you mean? We paid all that money on a college education, and now what? You're just going to go around the world and do what? You're going to take pictures? Well, no, I mean, like, it was true story.
That was a great impression.
Yeah. Oh man, if you met my, I'm here to tell you that was a very accurate. And what the kid did is he's like, Dad, I got the business degree so I could do it my way. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be in that. And weirdly, his first job literally was, he did go around the world and take photos. And actually, he was paid to write articles as he went around the world and took photos at the different real estate properties all around the globe and he would write up like the descriptions, he'd take the pictures of the property, and they paid him for it with health insurance. Yeah. And then when he got tired of that gig, like, he has a fly fish company, he like has a ski guide company, he like still takes pictures, he does like video shoots so he has all these different small businesses. Yep. And that's how he's lived his life. And it looks totally different than what anything my uncle would ever have envisioned for him 30 years ago. However, it's been a good life for him. I mean, it's his way, and it is different. And that, it's interesting because it's hard to let go. And your parents, Mac, right now, and Livia, with you move, like, you guys, it's a wonderful thing to let your kids fly. And it's so scary. It is, Laura. Isn't it scary?
So hard.
I mean, like, it is. So, like, I'd love to tell you, like, if you're listening and you're like, well, this is about transition and change. Well, it is in part about transitioning and change, and how you do it successfully is you have to let go of what you think it should always look like so that you can best support those who are walking through whatever different life experience it is. Does that make sense?
100%.
Like
100%.
his mom and dad, Mac's mom and dad, could be trying to make it do quote unquote their way. However, I have to say they did a really good job of kind of helping Mac coach it to do it his way. I mean, wouldn't you say? I think they did a really good job with that.
Well, the big thing is one of the big things they taught me was to not really be afraid of messing up. So I have an example. So we all know Thomas Edison, right? He made the light bulb. He went through dozens upon dozens, I think maybe even hundreds of different designs trying to make the modern light bulb, and none of them worked. After any single one of those, after the first dozen, he could have just said to his then assistant, Nikola Tesla, who's also one of the great inventors, he could have been like, okay, Nikola, we tried everything, we're done. But the big thing is, it wasn't really that he was doing things wrong, it's just he needed to find the right way to do it, and he eventually did. So the big thing is, you need to necessarily learn that your failings don't mean you're a total screw up. It's just like I can't remember who it was, but I once heard somebody, like I once saw a really good quote, and it said, like, your failures are the tuition you pay for becoming successful.
Yeah.
Good point.
Love that.
Good point.
And it's just, don't be afraid of it. It's part of the process. You're in the process of learning. This is like, it's the tuition you're paying now, so that later you know what works and what doesn't, so that you make all the right decisions later by learning from what you fail in early on.
Mac, I could kiss you right now. So all the artwork for Rhinestones and Rodeo, I have to come up with all the quotes.
Oh,
And
there you go.
And like,
There's
I'm
a good
so
one.
excited because
Found
I'm
one.
like, I'm so excited about this. I cannot wait. It's going to be in Rhinestones and Rodeo. I guarantee it. That's so good. Now we just have to find out who actually said it. So anyway, well, it's true though.
I mean,
It's
it
good.
is, yeah.
Occasionally I got a
No,
good
I
one.
like
So
it.
thank you, Mac, for that.
like
That makes
it.
my life a little bit easier. Which I think I would be remiss, guys. We do need to remind some people.
Please.
Glow Row, in not this coming Saturday, but the following Saturday, you guys really need the Dancer Love Foundation. It's tons of fun. It's right here. It'll be in Washington Park. They've got the street blocked off. There'll be food. You don't even have to row, but come and show some support. Because, I mean, great people will be there. We'll just be having a good time because, gosh, I love it. And Sam and Jenny are doing so much. They're actually partnering with the College for Life program at John Wood Community College. I don't know if Mac probably doesn't know this yet, but with their adaptive fitness, so that the students through College for Life will be able to come and get nutrition, coaching, and wellness.
Honestly,
I
I'll
did
probably
not
I'll
know
probably
that.
learn about that on the SGA meeting next week.
I'm excited.
Next week on Monday, so I'll probably learn a bit more about that.
Yeah,
But,
and
that's
it's
pretty
exciting
fun.
stuff. Yeah, it is
And
fun.
I'm looking at your schedule, and I'm kind of terrified how full it is. You got a lot going on.
This is why schedule adjustments don't really mess with me anymore. Yeah, no, he's laughing. I have my if you watch this on social media, we'll see. I've got my color coded calendar here, and it's
We call that the Bible. And it's about as thick as one because, I mean, you have to stick to it.
King James version 2.
Yes.
No abridgments.
That's
well,
right.
September might be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
With footnotes.
It might need. Why do you think I'm like, hey Mac? Guess what, bud? I got an opportunity for you. Come on and meet Ryan and Laura and the whole crew.
That's
Come
right.
on in.
No,
But can't you see?
Yeah,
He's got it, and he's a boy. Aren't you happy?
thrilled.
I mean, so Ryan.
It's still
sometimes
3
get-
on too, Ryan. But hey, I think we got this.
I never. It's never a more. Yeah.
They even split us up. They put us on opposite ends of the table. They
That was
knew
the
we'd
point.
be too strong together.
Literally the point.
Divide and conquer here,
Yeah.
folks.
That is part of the master plan, Mac. I'm glad that you figured that out because Ryan cannot be left unsupervised.
Oh my God.
Anyway, okay, you guys, I hope you enjoyed today's show. Please remember, it's not just children or adults with disabilities who have a difficulty transitioning. It's hashtag everyone. And we can all learn from each other and we can all grow. And it's my prayer for you today that you get better, not bitter. For now, this is hashtag everyone talking about hashtag everything. See you next week.